Cartoon Render shader, what we do in Max, will not export out to a game engine. You could script a shader if you'd like to look into scripting, and you might be able to make something that runs within your game engine. But if you want to play with it, here's how it works. I have a tank here, and if I render it, you'll see the tank is just, it's untextured, it's got a simple light in the scene, nothing fancy, and we'll let that render through. And if I go to my material editor, and I'm going to cover this, well, we'll make a new one. This is the material that's on it. You can tell by the solid triangles. I'm going to go down to this new shader down here. It doesn't matter which one of these gray ones you use. This is the shader I made to test it with, but we'll make a new one. Where it says standard here, I'm going to click that. I'm going to click on ink and paint. Just double click on it. It'll pop it into that slot. Basically pick the color that you want your tank to be. I'm going to make this kind of an army gray type color. That's green. How about blue? There we go. Under, where's my paint levels, this is how many shades it will blend into the darker areas or the shaded areas. And if I apply this by selecting everything in my scene, I can hit this button here to apply it. It's now on the tank. If I render it, you'll see that I've created a cartoon type shader for the tank. Right now it's pretty raw. The lines are a little thick. Let that render all the way through so we'll see the difference. It's drawing outlines wherever there's facets past a certain angle. And it's shading a little bit in here. If you don't want it to shade it, you can turn these paint levels back to 1 or 2. I'm going to knock the ink width down to, I want it to be 1. And I'll render that again. You'll see the difference. The ink width now will change. Very easy. There is a light in the scene right now. Let that render all the way through. And you can have it cast highlights if you like. My light was not in a good spot when I was testing it, so I'm going to move my light. There we go. That's not looking bad. And I'm going to close this real quick, jump out here to my quad view. You can see there is a light in this scene, but my light's not really casting shadows like I would like. I think I'm going to bump it back here. Actually, I'm going to put the light right nearly on top of the tank. I think that'll work a little better. There we go. And hop back over here. Go to my material editor again. And I can have it cast light by checking this highlight box. It'll turn this white for the time being. But you can see that highlight. And my glossiness setting is here. The higher the setting, the tighter the highlight. And if I render this, I will get some highlights. You can see there's one of them right along the barrel of the gun. I never really liked the highlight mode. It's also casting shadows right now. You can see some shadows down here. And those shadows, there you can see another one forming underneath the wheel. Those shadows are dictated by how many levels I have. I'm really not fond of the highlight on this tank. It doesn't have enough stuff. But I'm going to bump my paint levels up higher. And now I'll get a little bit more dimension in this as it renders because I have more paint levels. You can see the difference right here as it goes through. It's making it look a little bit more curved. A few more shades of gray for it to use. And that's about it as far as what you would need to get your tank in a cartoon render, if that's what you would like. It's a neat effect. Sometimes these projects are, the final renders are done in both a cartoon render and a regular render. If you're going to do a cartoon render, just play with the settings. There's really not too many of them here that you can choose from. Your outline is the outline of the objects, the material ID colors, everything is here if you want to play with those.